You're watching Lacrosse Legends.
Sports Network presents High School Lacrosse. Today, the high-flying Tigers of Hempstead battle the Knights of Uniondale. This telecast is being brought to you by St. John's University, Genevieve's Drug Store, and Adelphi University. Hi again, everybody. I'm Barry Landers, along with Tom Flatley, Sewanaka High School coach, on a very lovely but a little bit windy afternoon here at Uniondale High School as we get set for this clash. Tom Flatley, Hempstead coming in with a record of 8-2-1. They've had an outstanding season. Uniondale's club record of 4-5, but anytime these two rivals get together, the neighboring schools, it's generally a good game.
Certainly has, and it's been a good series whenever they've played, and they're playing on Uniondale's home field today, which of course should be to their advantage. It's going to be awful tough for Uniondale. I think speed-wise, Hempstead has a decided edge, and they also play a very, very aggressive zone-type defense, which could give Uniondale trouble.
Yeah, not too many teams see that zone defense, so you see only a few clubs using it. Why is it such a tough defense for teams to handle?
Well, it's something you just have maybe 1 or 2 days to prepare for, especially with the weather we've had this year when games are backed up. You're playing a game almost every other day. And some lousy teams used to play zone where they just sit back and let you attack and just sit in there and stop the shots. But Hempstead plays it like a man-down defense with a backer in the middle, and they play it very aggressively. And I think they have more players than Uniondale, and this could tend to wear Uniondale out as the afternoon goes on.
Now let's talk about that Hempstead team. Very good offensively, a lot of speed. They like the transition.
They certainly do. They ride well. They ride very effectively with a 3-man zone. They'll try to force you into an error. They have outstanding dodgers on the midfield in Duncan and Barrett, and they have some outstanding attackmen. Hughes is back off after an early season injury, and they're good players like so many teams do now, will flip-flop between attack and the midfield.
And Uniondale has some fine players in their own right.
I've been very impressed with Falcone over the 3 years I've seen him. He's done a good job, and Baradine is coming on. Pat's getting more scoring than he thought he would, but he's going to have to make every shot count today.
All right, so that's a little bit of a rundown on today's contest, and Tom Flatley and I will be back with a chat with both coaches in just a moment. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
Come into Genevieve's and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, and it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genevieve's is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
NBC's young researcher, Bob Siegel, probes Washington for straight answers to tough questions. Bob's a total media person and credits his skills to Adelphi University and professors like Paul Pitkoff, an award-winning filmmaker who prepares his students to solve communications problems. The answers Bob got at Adelphi helped prepare him for his career. Maybe you'll find your answers at Adelphi, too.
Barry Landers back here at Uniondale High School with Coach Pat Shea of the Knights. And Pat, tough task coming up. Very fine Hempstead team, 8-2-1. You're going up against them. Last year you lost 11-7 to them, but this year a different year. I know you're looking forward to the game.
Definitely. I think the boys are up for this game. We've always had a rivalry with Hempstead, and we know Al has a real hard-nosed team, but I think we're ready for him today.
Hank Kurwarski, who has been an outstanding goaltender for you, he's going to have his hands full. Tell us a little bit about Hank and what we can expect from what type of goaltender is he?
Hank's a senior. He's been playing in the goal since the 8th grade in junior high school. He's been averaging about 17 saves for us this year. Very tough kid. Looks to get the outlet pass out to our middies. Comes up with some very good one-on-one situations. We're new on defense, so consequently he does have to play a very strong game for us today.
Glenn Falcone, who Tom and I talked about earlier, 30 goals, having another outstanding year, one of the best players in the county.
Yeah, Glenn definitely is another type of hard-nosed player. He's been playing on the varsity since his sophomore year. We count on him a lot for scoring, also for face-offs. He's our leader, and we do need a big game out of him today.
And you're going to also need a big game out of Borodine.
Yeah, Bobby's a midfielder, very quick, aggressive. He's come through a couple games. The last couple games he's been scoring for us. But the biggest thing is he's a real hustler, and we need a person like Bobby on our midfield.
All right, thanks very much, Pat Shea, coach of Uniondale. And standing by, my colleague Tom Flatley to talk with the fine Hempstead coach Al Hodish.
Pleased to be here this afternoon with Al Hodish, coach of the Hempstead team, who's also done a fine job developing an entire lacrosse program in Hempstead from Little League on up. Al, good luck today.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
All right, Al, defensively, we've talked a little bit about some of your offensive players, a little bit about your goalie and some of your defensemen.
Yeah, we think our goalie's one of the finest in the nation this year. Is being highly recruited. It's James Scott. Kids call him Pee-wee. He was an all-conference goalie last year. Great thing about him is his willingness to work hard, his quickness, and his quick release. Excellent release for our transition game.
Right, I know last year, Al, when we were in the same league, you wound up 17-2, had a fine season. You had 4 all-county ball players graduate. How have you replaced these people, especially on offense?
Well, believe it or not, we lost an All-American in Brandon James and John Williams, who playing over at Delphi. But our biggest loss has been on defense, and Aaron Jones and William Humphrey. Jones is up at Cornell, Humphrey at Hobart. Both those kids were 4'6", 40 guys. And we're not quite as quick as we have been on defense, but it makes more of a challenge to our kids to work that much harder. We got Aaron Cross, Norm Diener, and a sophomore Matt Murphy doing a fine job for us.
Good, Al. Today, on your offensive situations, you plan on moving the ball behind the cage and attacking their defense or working against their middies?
Well, we're going to test them in both places. We'll look to the crease, look behind, look out front. We feel we're quick and we move the ball real well on a dump pass, and we'll try to force and dump as much as we can and run as much as we can.
Good, Al. Thank you. Good luck to you today. We'll be back with the game in a few minutes on the Long Island Sports Network.
The university, locus for clear and consistent thinking, the appreciation of our cultural heritage, the advancement of knowledge, the intellectual growth of students, and the essential preparation for a chosen career. And most important, the free inquiry after truth. The university is St. John's.
Come into Genovese and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, as it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genovese is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
Barry Landers along with Tom Flatley back here at Uniondale High School, getting set to go. Hempstead in blue, and they'll take the face-off with number 10, Darryl Jones. And we'll be underway here as number 21 for Uniondale. Glenn Falcone wins the face-off, and Uniondale coming down, trying to set it up. We'll identify the players. Uniondale 1-3 in league play, 4-5 overall, as Falcone being checked on the far side by Darryl Jones. And we have a whistle, and the ball goes over to Hempstead. And
very aggressive defense. Darryl Jones is a fine face-off man, and so is Falcone. That'll be quite a matchup today.
The officials working today's game, and here they are. We've got Jim Howe, Ed Schreiber, Bob LaCour, and Joe Donato. And Tom, why are we using 4 officials today?
Well, this is how they do it in the big county playoff games and in the intersectional games, and they want to get a shot of it on tape so they can use it as a teaching lesson. We have a chief bench official and 3 game officials.
James Scott, the goaltender, cleared it up, and this is Hempstead with it. Tyrone Payne, number 5, it's kicked away. Hempstead, very strong, very quick club. As they battle for the loose ball, Falcone comes up with it, or check it, number 27 with it, and that is Bobby Borodin. And as the pass gets knocked away, chasing after it, 56 is Steve Engelman. And the ball will be retained by Uniondale. Pat Shea in his 3rd year played at Mineola High School in Delphi. They lost to Hempstead last year, 11-7. They average 8.5 a game, Uniondale, and they've given up 9 goals per game. How about the goaltenders? We talked about Hank Kerwoski with Uniondale. How about James Scott? He's an All-American candidate. A lot of people very high on the goaltender, and you'll see him in a moment as he's got the ball right now.
We've played against James several times at Sewanok in box lacrosse and indoor leagues, summer leagues last season. He's a fine goalie. He's one of the best in the county. Kerwoski's an experienced goaltender, too.
Arian Cross lost that ball, number 36, the defender, and he'll play it defense right now as Uniondale tries to counter on the attack here. We'll set up their players as we go. Number 13 is Henry Conwell, who scored 10 goals, 9 assists. He's the captain. That's Conwell at the point, playing behind the cage. Number 23 is Scott DeLillies, who has 9 goals.
You'll see number 10 is the back in his own, but this time
Conwell hit the back of the net. He missed wide. Good setup that time. And Uniondale very aggressive going for it, and they'll retain possession.
There was a loose ball push there against Hempstead. That time Hempstead's backman in the zone didn't get over to cover the sneak by the Uniondale attack.
Again, they work a zone, which we talked about in our pregame show. What's the keys to working a zone effectively, Tom, as a defense?
Alertness and anticipating. Sometimes they'll shut off. There's a lot of different things you can do off at Barry, like double team and things like this.
This is Falcone trying to get the shot off, blocked in front. And the big guy, Matt Murphy, 6'2", 225, trying to scoop it up. And number 64 does fire it down. Racing after it is number 25 for Hempstead, Brian Duncan. And did it go out the closest to out? Let's see. It'll be Uniondale ball.
I believe Matt Murphy's still a young player. I think he's only a sophomore, Barry. He's one of the outstanding football prospects in Nassau County coming up for several years. He is tremendously strong and quick.
Hempstead with great athletes, not only in football, basketball, and lacrosse certainly this year.
They'll use a 3-man zone ride, Barry, and they'll just force you to pass the ball as many times as you can, and they'll run you down sooner or later.
Hank Kerwoski, who has good quickness, the goaltender, pretty good clearing, averaging almost 17 saves a game. That's he with the ball, as he is being checked in front by a very, very quick player, Art Barry. 6'1", 170-pound senior, has 32 goals this year.
Barrett and Duncan will go both midfield and attack.
Now Uniondale on the attack as they control. Number 13 behind the cage is Conwell. Dropping it off to 23, DeLillis. DeLillis behind the cage to Conwell. Back to DeLillis. Conwell looking out front for Falcone, who scores!
Very patient working. They're not putting any pressure on the man behind the goal. And Al Hodish has usually done that in the past, and Conwell's having plenty of time to pick out the open stick, and that time it was their best shooter.
Glenn Falcone with his 31st goal of the year. Let's get another look at it here.
See the ball go behind and nobody pressures him, so he's got too much time to pick it out. Falcone gets a good shot right up under the pipe here.
Falcone had 58 goals last year, an excellent football player, all conference. Apparently headed to St. John's, and I know Bill Miltonberg very happy if he can get this guy.
Well, Billy needs some players like that caliber if they're going to compete with Hofstra and Adelphi and Post.
So Uniondale coming up with the first goal of the game, and off the face-off, Uniondale trying to control as Engelman, 56, does a nice job coming up with it, and they'll flip it over to Falcone.
Notice his leg is fairly heavily taped today, and he's out there now with the second midfield. He's going to come off, it looks like.
Had 4 goals against Berner in their last game. They've lost 2 in a row, Uniondale. They've lost to Sewanok, Bethpage, East Meadow, Port Washington, and to Berner.
They're pressuring the ball behind now, Barry.
This is DeLillis. Conwell closest to the ball, and it'll be retained by Uniondale. That goal coming at 2:53 of this first quarter. Uniondale taking the 1-0 lead on Falcone's 31st goal.
They're double teaming the ball out of bounds, as you see many colleges do. Uniondale went back door on him and got the shot off.
And again, it'll be Uniondale ball.
See if they try it again here.
Possession.
Now this time it looks like they're going to play it straight.
Conwell, number 13. Go out to Falcone on the wing. Falcone with a sharp angle shot. Nice play by DeLillis. as he tried to make the look in front. Hempstead trying to look at it and scoop up on the unsettled here. This is Brian Duncan.
He's one of the best middies in the county, Barry.
Tyrone Payne in front. Oh, and a nice batted down play by the goaltender that time, Hank Kurwoski. We talked about Kurwoski having to have a big game today.
There's a nice feed by Heath Hughes to Duncan, who cut right down there and got the shot off. As you say, he came up big. Uniondale is going to need a big game by Kurwoski. His brothers were fine lacrosse players, by the way, at Uniondale High School. See Uniondale be using a man-to-man defense, and you're going to see Barrett and Duncan do an awful lot of dodging. They both like to sweep right-handed.
This is Art Barrett working against number 25, Mitch Rojas. Hempstead overruns the ball, but Andre Anderson, who has 8 goals, picks it up. Pass behind Tyrone Payne.
Andre's a sophomore and a fine ball player.
Uniondale will pick it up, but we get a whistle, and no, they say he must have stepped over the end line.
That's right. Bob LaCour called it from the back line. He's in perfect position to do it, too.
How about the positioning of these 4 officials, Tom?
Well, it's a lot easier on the referees running. And you get a better check on the offsides also this way, Barry. You get 2 on each side. The chief bench official can call offsides, control the bench area, which makes it a lot more enjoyable for the coaches and everybody else.
This is Brian Duncan working one-on-one. Good dodge. Somebody has lost his stick.
The goalie.
Check. The goalie is playing without a stick. Now has time to pick it up. A break. Has out to pick it up is Art Barrett. Avoids the check of Falcone. This is Payne. In front. Oh, and again, as he was getting it off, Brian Duncan was checked, and the shot went wide.
Brian would be better there, Barry, if he had the stick in the left hand.
Brian won 65% of face-offs this year, 3-year varsity all-league. Their most consistent player, scored 31 goals this year, to go along with 15 assists, 46 points. Plays midfield and attack. Number 10 is Darrell Jones, a flag, delayed penalty coming up on Uniondale. From the backside, and a save made off the shot by Heath Hughes, looking for goal number 14, and we'll have a penalty coming up on Uniondale right now.
Zachary Posporlis, number 77, is going to go for a slash on that one.
But Kurwoski looks sharp in the early
certainly has. It's 2 point-blank saves he's made, and a 30 discouraged.
So it'll be a man-up situation for Hempstead. Any stats on Hempstead man-up?
Well, they're going about 35%. So they've had some real good days and some real bad days. See a great save here. Nice play by Tyrone Payne, finding Heath Hughes coming around. Heath took his time, too.
And a good save by the goaltender.
Certainly was. Very patient.
Timeout taken. So we'll have our first timeout. We have played some 5 minutes and 10 seconds of this first quarter. The only score, Uniondale's Glenn Falcone is 31st at 2:51 of this opening quarter. Or make that 2:53 of the opening quarter. And Uniondale, with a man-down situation coming up, they've been 75% effective. They've killed 3 out of every 4 man-up situations.
I'm sure Pat Shea is very pleased with that. Most coaches try to keep it 25% or under. And you try to go 35% or so on your extra man and get a 10% edge.
Let's take a look at the Nassau County top 10, Tom Flatley, because it has been a very close year. A lot of clubs bunched together as far as records. Farmingdale, last year's defending champ number 1. Manhasset, Cold Spring Harbor, East Meadow, Levittown Division, your fine club, Sewanaka, after splitting a couple of games this week, losing to a very good Garden City team on the rise, and then beating MacArthur the other day. Rest of the top 10, and we'll see it in a moment as we look at the rest of the top 10. Port Washington and Hempstead, club you're seeing today, tied for 7th. Garden City, the upset winner earlier this week. Hicksville, Berner, and then there's a tie for 10th, Elmont and Bethpage.
Well, some of those teams are very up and down. Elmont had a bad loss to us, then a great win over Cold Spring Harbor. You get now the weather down to the coaches are finished experimenting. Pat Shea's now got a set group. Other coaches have. The last half of the season will start this week, the league season, and there'll be 6 league dates left.
All right, let's see if Hempstead takes advantage of the man-up. That's Brian Duncan, 25. They work it to the near side, hit the pipe, I believe, and partially saved, goes over the net. That shot taken by Art Barrett, who is looking for his 33rd goal. He's the leading scorer. Battle for it. Number 10, trying to get it is Darrell Jones. Ground ball. Can Uniondale gain possession as they kick it? It'll be recovered by Brian Duncan, 25. 6'1" and 85-pound senior Duncan. Blocked in front. Scramble for it. Number 5 trying to get possession was Tyrone Payne. Out it goes to Barrett, and he scored. So great pressure, and finally, number 19, Art Barrett, gets his 33rd goal. 3-year player with excellent speed, a football and basketball player, showed some of his good shooting ability, and a tough goal for the goaltender, Hank Kurwaski.
Right. Barrett's one of the best offensive players in the county. Nice play coming up by the ball, Hempstead here, and moving it real quick. That's one of the key things in this game. Is you come up with a loose ball, find an open man, which Hempstead did very well.
Kurwaski at 5'9", 165-pound senior, who's good on those one-on-one situations, good at close range. He had 21 saves against Berner in the loss the other day. So it's tied up at 1-1, 4:09 to go. I didn't see if the man had come out of the box.
No, he was. They were still a man up, Barry.
A man up goal, so they're 1 for 1 in that department. And we're deadlocked at 1-1. Hope you're enjoying the action here. Let's see, Falcone is on for the faceoff. Who's taking it for Hempstead?
It could be Al Jones, nicknamed Coke, who does a fine job. He's
all right.
Strong, quick.
Instead it was Darryl Jones. Yeah, it is Darryl
Jones.
Right.
He's been a fine faceoff man for 2 years.
This is Falcone as Uniondale came up with the loose ball. Falcone had the goal earlier. Uniondale decided underdog here. Conwell. This is DeLillis. Knocked away defensively by Arian Cross, 36, but recovered. Number 27 is Bobby Borodin, who has 18 goals.
Hempstead had a little trouble with cutters through the middle of their zone so far, Barry. They've had a few openings, Uniondale.
If you haven't played against it, is it tough to adjust to a team playing zone?
It certainly is, Barry. You don't have a lot of time to practice against it.
Conwell.
Some teams will just run their extra man offense against it.
This is Borodin. Engelman, 56. And as he is checked, he throws it away.
Fine double team pressure by Murphy and Jones there.
3:17 to go. First quarter, we're tied at 1-1. Hempstead's Tigers 8-2-1, coming off a 17-2 record last year. Al Hodish in his 9th year as Hempstead coach. Since 1980, they've 26 of 30 seniors have received scholarships. And Hempstead very proud of that fact.
I'll give you one more stat on Hempstead. Since 1967, every goalie they've had has been made all league.
That is quite a stat. Here's Barrett, 19 on the unsettled. And the shot knocked down again. Brian Duncan getting the shot off as Kurwaski has had to make 3 good saves here. This is Darryl Jones. Being checked by Bobby Borodin. Good matchup there.
Borodin's going to tire himself out.
Jones drops it off. Duncan's shot rifled high, and it bounces over the end line. It'll still be Hempstead balls. They had a man backing up nicely. Tyrone Payne, you can see number 5 was there. Little dynamo, they call him, pound for pound, tough as they come.
Very fine wrestler.
5'4", 135 pounds, and also a football player. Good shooter. 13 assists for this guy, number 5. Trying to get it to Duncan. Batted away as Heath Hughes was also there, number 12. And finally, Falcone comes up with it. Check down. We have a call. Interference, and it'll go over to blue. So it goes over to Hempstead. They called interference on the goalie.
Well, I don't know if it was on the goalie, Barry, but whatever it is, Uniondale went to a lot of trouble to come up with a loose ball, and it's a heck of a way to lose it like that, because against Hempstead, you know, they have to control the ball. Hempstead has a lot of offense.
They are explosive. Art Barrett, number 19, will play it.
It's going to sweep. You'd rather go right.
Working against Borodin. Duncan rifled, and it was partially stopped by the goaltender and went in. So Brian Duncan gets the goal. That puts it 2-1 Hempstead's favor, his 32nd of the year. And the senior, who plays midfield and attack, has given Hempstead the lead with 2:17 to go. The time of that goal will be 7:43 of this first quarter.
I think the people can see why Barrett and Duncan stay on the whole time for Coach Hodish. Here, Barrett makes a move. As soon as he's doubled, Duncan pops out very alertly. Comes ahead of his defenseman and gets some good power on that right-handed shot.
So the face-off now with Hempstead regaining the lead. Falcone out there. And try to pick up that face-off man for Hempstead. We didn't see as they lined up. We were watching a replay there.
It's a nice close-up of the face-off
Duncan,
technique.
right. Let's talk about the face-off technique on that time. That surprised Brian Duncan loses possession.
Well,
Uniondale trying to gain it.
Most of Hempstead's players will clamp and step and try to pin the ball up, then use body position to draw it out to the open area.
Uniondale recovering. This is Bobby Borodin under heavy pressure. Up for grabs, but Zachary Porsopolis picks it up, and he goes down. We have a call made as there was good contact, and it will go over to Uniondale.
Going to be a loose ball push, Barry. One of the things on the face-off, Al Jones was one of the finalists at the Rutgers camp. Rutgers camp draws about 600 players, and they have a tremendous face-off tournament each year. And Al Jones was one of the finalists for the last 2 years.
There's 77. Zachary Posparelis, his first year, one of the best defensive players, plays the big score, and he's going to have his hands full today against a very quick Hempstead team. Now, discussion going on. It doesn't appear to be a timeout. Just having substitutions made.
Could have been a delay or something over there. It was called by the chief bench official, who I believe is Jimmy Howell.
There's Pat Shea.
Hempstead's going to be, right now, they're one man down, and that looks like the way it's going to be. It's tough to see the signals, Barry, because they give them toward the scorer's table, and we're on the opposite side.
Okay, Hempstead is a man down. We can't tell you that. As Uniondale looks to tie it up on the man-up situation. The man-up has not been too effective, only 20% this year for Uniondale. This is Engelman, 56.
Cut to a 1-4 right now.
Conwell in, looking in front. Knocked away. Good defense. An alert play by Scott.
Scott's
quick
very
clear.
Good at picking up loose balls and getting a quick outlet.
This is Darryl Jones. Boy, with great speed on coming in on Engelman.
That'll get the release from the penalty.
Penalty is over now as they got brought it across the restraining area. Duncan check. Throws it away. As Uniondale trying to gain control. Uniondale much smaller than Hempstead. Borden couldn't get it. Borden went down and looks like he's hurt. Rolling over Bobby Borden. They can ill afford to lose Borden.
Certainly can.
Plays the crease attack. A fine soccer player, hard-nosed, has a good hand, good stick with either hand, and he's in.
Looks like a problem. Looks like he might have caught a stick across his shin the way he's moving down there.
And you often wonder why they don't wear more pad. I know it's not part of the game, but the way the contact is, that they don't wear shin guards or knee pads or more of those kind of things.
You see some of the younger kids, Little League, wearing it, Barry. Next year, I know the safety feature, the 9th graders going to have to wear a mouthpiece, and that could eventually be pushed up into the high school. They also started making stricter requirements for the materials used in the helmet.
Some of the changes made. Tom Flatley, let's talk about the differences between college and high school lacrosse. Obviously, time is one of the differences. They play 15-minute quarters, 60 minutes in college. They play only 10-minute quarters, 40 minutes in high school. What about some of the other changes?
Well, we experimented with 12 a few years back, and the worst teams got beat worse, so it didn't really work out. Coaches weren't playing any more kids. Another thing you got to look for, the fans will watch for after the college games we did, on the slow whistle technique. In high school, you can get as many shots as you want as long as you keep the ball in the box, in your possession or on the ground. All right? And then high school, on a loose ball situation, ball coming inbounds, you have to give them 10 yards instead of 5, and your overtimes are different. In high school, you'll play 2 3-minute periods, then go to sudden death.
All right, let's take a look at the scoring summary as they continue to work on the young man injured. You could see that it was Uniondale jumping in front. Falcone scoring at 2:53. His 31st goal, and then Hempstead came back to tie it at 5:51. A man-up goal, Barrett his 33rd, and then Hempstead again with a man-up goal at 7:43. Duncan his 32nd to make it a 2-1 game. That's the way it stands. As you can see, the young man being helped off the field, actually being carried off the field, Bobby Borden, and a tough break for Uniondale. Fine athlete, Bobby Borden.
It certainly is. Uniondale does not have the depth that Hempstead has, and they can't afford to lose a player of Borden's caliber.
So as he is being administered to on the side, we will have play resume momentarily. Under a minute to go in the quarter. 59 seconds to be exact. And we hope that you're enjoying the action. We'll have a big doubleheader in Suffolk County coming up your way. And we invite you to stay tuned for that one, you Suffolk County lacrosse fans. Huntington will be taking on Comstock. Huntington having a fine year. The big story there, Tom Flatley, Smithtown East upsetting Ward Melville. And that bodes an interesting look into the future as far as the playoffs are concerned. Ward Melville has dominated lacrosse in Suffolk.
Well, I think you have a true playoff this year and not a walkthrough by the Ward Melville team. So it'll be a lot better for the fans.
Whitman will play Sachem in that other game. And, of course, we had Sachem on in the final last year against Ward Melville. And Sachem came up with some outstanding play. Flag thrown again.
They just gotten a release.
Seconds.
They had just gotten a release from the penalty box, and now it looks like it's going to go back. As I think coming out of the penalty box, there's a Billy Pearson.
Well, Billy's
Slash
heading
as he
off,
came out, right? He came right out into the play and got banged for a slash. So Uniondale will have another minute.
Stu Honig, who's working on the far side, has found out that it's a twisted ankle for Borden, and that's the nature of the injury. So we'll keep you posted on any other developments as they've got the man-up situation in effect, and the shot blocked as it went to the side of the net. This is Conwell, 13, who has 10 goals. DeLillis out front for Engelman, who fires wide as he was being checked when he took the shot there.
I think Engelman's taking Barden's place on this, too, who's usually part of this unit.
Engelman playing in midfield, play at the top of the restraining area. This is Conwell dropping it off on the wing. Shot rifled wild by Falcone.
Got a good shot. That's going to go to Hempstead, though, because we had no backup by Uniondale.
Yeah, Frank Altamira was a little bit late, number 18 there. So Hempstead will get it. Man still in the penalty box. It's Billy Pearson, number 1. Now, number 36.
They'll let a short stick take it, I think, Barry. It's got a much better chance to dodge than a long stick does.
So instead of Aaron Cross taking it, number 10, Darryl Jones, who you saw with his great speed earlier, he'll bring it out, trying to clear it.
Uniondale should try to force him to pass it. There we go.
And they lose the ball.
Want to hold it now, Barry. You got 4 seconds.
Right, Falcone with it.
Smart heads-up play. They'll have possession when the quarter starts.
That's it. So a heads-up play and gives Uniondale possession when the second quarter ends. There's Al Hodish. His club leads by 2-1 at the end of the first quarter. We'll be back. Tom Platley and yours truly, Barry Landers, in a moment. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
Come into Genovese and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, and it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genovese is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
NBC's young researcher, Bob Siegel, probes Washington for straight answers to tough questions. Bob's a total media person and credits his skills to Adelphi University and professors like Paul Pitkoff, an award-winning filmmaker who prepares his students to solve communications problems. The answers Bob got at Adelphi helped prepare him for his career. Maybe you'll find your answers at Adelphi, too.
Barry Landers, Tom Platley. We start the second quarter with Uniondale in a man-up situation, trying to tie it as they have changed sides. Conwell over to Falcone, who has the goal, partially blocked by Scott, and he deflects it out. It'll still be Uniondale ball. Trying to keep an eye on that penalty box, which as far as actually obscured for our view. I think Pearson is still in there.
Yeah, well, the best thing to do is watch the guys step over.
Borden being worked on the bench. Good look in front, and we're tied on the goal by Falcone.
Yeah, that was a nice assist by number 3 there, Scott DeLillis.
So Uniondale takes advantage of the man-up situation. Again, we see a team that normally doesn't do all that well man-up, coming up with a goal there. And Scott DeLillis with a good look in front, and we have a Uniondale tying the game at 2 apiece.
Yeah, well, in your stats from the first half, Barry, Uniondale's done a better than average job on the face-off, and the shots were even in the first half. Hempstead had that one flurry, and outside of that, not another lot of activity.
All right, so we're ready for the face-off. Again, we're deadlocked at 2 apiece. And as the whistle blows again, the legal procedure call, and it'll go against Hempstead, and it will be Uniondale ball as Falcone was battling for the face-off. Illegal procedure.
They had the
Darryl Jones there.
Well, the Hempstead wingman came across too quick. One of the other Barry. You get a lot better coverage with 3 men on that because you have one guy to watch both wing area in the face-off.
So Falcone will play it. He has both goals. Glenn Falcone with his 32nd of the year. Talked about him being an outstanding player and coming off a 4-goal game against Berner. This is Engelman. Bounces away.
He had a attackman open on the corner there coming around. It was number 13 was open on that play. If they run that play again, you might look for Conwell coming around the corner.
Conwell will play it from behind the cage. No, instead it is not Conwell. They'll go with 23 DeLillis. Batted away, and Engelman was right in the crease.
He got pushed in, though, so it's going to
in.
stay the same way, right?
Hempstead very aggressive defensively. Engelman brushing himself off.
Uniondale's, most of their plays are designed to set up Falcone here.
We have a timeout taken by Uniondale. They've come back to tie it. We've played just 40, make that 38 seconds of the second quarter. Tom Flatley, we were talking about Nassau Lacrosse, and let's run down the league setup the way it is. And of course, in League One, Farmingdale, number 1 Hicksville was upset by Oceanside, so Farmingdale in right now the commanding driver's position.
That's right. With this morning's results and everything, League 2 is very tight. Port Washington's 4-1. Hempstead is 2-1-1. Burner and East Meadow are both 3-2, so they're very much in contention. In our league, Sewanaka is 3rd, Levittown Division is 2nd, and Garden City's leading it.
And in League 4, it looks like we've got a pretty interesting race. Looks like Bethpage and Calhoun are 1 and 2.
That's right. And the other leagues this year, 5 and 6. This week we had some tight games. Lynbrook surprised Elmont. It was a surprise to a lot of people. I don't think it was a surprise to the Lynbrook team by any means. But they beat Elmont to take over first spot. And yesterday, Manhasset knocked off Cold Spring Harbor.
Should be a great year for the playoffs, and 24 teams will make the Nassau County playoffs.
That's if 24 apply, Barry. The first 2 from each league are automatically in. After that, if you feel you have a shot, you apply. A committee of coaches will rank the teams. Last year, 25 applied, 24 got in, but 24 is your maximum number.
And we here on the Long Island Sports Network are delighted to tell you we'll be on hand for some of those playoff games. We will definitely have the county championship for Nassau County and the Catholic League championship as well, and the Suffolk County championship. And should there be regional play, we'll have the Long Island champion as Nassau goes against Suffolk, and perhaps the Long Island winner eventually going up against one of the Westchester teams. Falcone shot blocked as he goes down.
Nice little face dodge there.
And Scott will clear it up as it goes out. It'll go back over to Uniondale. So Uniondale with some possession here in the early part of the second quarter. After having that man-up advantage. Again, a little tactical thing. Holding possession, having it at the end of the first quarter, gave them the man-up situation and possession in the second quarter. And they were able to cash
That's right.
in.
They scored. Came back with the next face-off, too.
Engelman. Conwell. Falcone. This is Conwell. Falcone likes that angle. Hit the pipe. Oh, what a blast that was. Had the goaltender beaten on the far side.
Certainly was. Their offense is trying to get him the ball right now, and pretty soon you think you're going to see Hempstead pay a lot more attention to him.
Well, the man, let's take another look at that. As they swing at Conwell with a good look here.
Get a nice angle on this one here, right behind the shooter.
The defender, number 42 for Hempstead, Norm Dina, 6'2", 200-pound senior. Steady, a leader, missed most of last year due to a leg injury. West Point Prep will be playing, and a fine football player, but he was a little late in covering on that Falcone. There he is.
That's right.
Playing a little closer now.
Pee Wee was looking behind him for the goal ball in the cage, but fortunately it hit the angle off the pipe. That was fine cover work by one of your new cameramen this year, Barry, on the network is Ron Sanchez, who played for me at Sewanaka, then played at North Carolina State.
Yeah, Ron, excellent player and an excellent cameraman. We're just delighted to have him on our crew.
One of the all-stars on Glenn Goldberg's hockey team, I believe, too.
That's right. We won't mention how they're doing this year, Tom Flatley. They need you out there, even though your namesake, Pat Flatley, and there's no relation to you. All right.
It's a little quicker.
We continue the action here. Uniondale controlling nicely. Conwell behind the cage.
Nice check over the head.
Good check.
That's Cross, I believe.
Right,
made
36, Arian Cross, 36.
He's a fine student. He might be bound for Hobart.
Fine. Hobart, Rutgers, 2 of the schools interested in it.
Very fine football player also, or as many of these Hempstead players for Buddy Krumenacker.
Yeah, Norm Dina had his helmet knocked off, and I, however, think there's a penalty coming up against Blue. I think it's going to be on Dina.
Well, I gotta say, I don't know. I think it was just a stoppage of play there.
No.
Dina's going out.
Yep.
Doesn't look like Uniondale setting up on the extra man.
No.
They're just going out and give him a break to repair that helmet for him.
All right. So we've had a substitution as Dina leaves, and number 45 is checked in a lineup for Hempstead. We'll find out who that is for you in a moment. He's not listed on our regular roster. Number 45 for Hempstead. So it'll be Uniondale ball on the far side. Now we have a timeout, I believe, taken. Stoppage of play, and number 45 is Rodney Brazil, 5'10", 180-pound senior defenseman, as he came in momentarily.
I think Pat Shea's using his timeouts very judiciously here, Barry. He doesn't have the manpower he does. He saw the referees were going to put that ball in play. He had about a 25-second break there and decided to get another minute by calling his timeout.
That's a good point, Tom. In high school, you are allowed 3 timeouts per half, and in college, they've reduced it to only 2. We've seen that in college basketball, a lot of the uproar with the TV timeouts reduced, etc. How do you feel about the timeout rule?
Well, I think, you know, some coaches just use them to take advantage so they can run one midfield the whole game, and it doesn't give their second midfield a chance to play. I'd rather see us play another add 2 minutes to the game and cut out a timeout or so. This way, you know, every time though you want to add more time to the game, the officials want more money.
Well, we want to remind you that this copyrighted telecast is intended solely for private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Cablevision is prohibited. Barry Landers along with Tom Flatley here at Uniondale High School, and our special thanks to Jim Condon, athletic director here, Section 8 coordinator, and chairman of New York State Lacrosse, high school level. And Long Island, of course, having another banner year in lacrosse, and we'll be hosting some of the regional competition. We'll be talking to Jim Condon about that as our halftime guest.
West Genesee, I know, they ran their winning streak to 73 games upstate. They had a big one last night with Tommy Hall's Fayette Manlius team. They're getting near the Sewanega record of 91.
They're a remarkable team, and of course
they're a young team this year too, so if they go this year, they'll go next year probably.
This is Murphy with the big stick, carrying across the late penalty on Uniondale. Murphy, good luck. Coming in now, number 12 being checked is Heath Hughes, and as he lost possession, stoppage in play, but a good look by Murphy that time.
That was a fine play by Murphy too, because a lot of times the defense, when they come across, the first thing I think about is shooting the ball. But he drew the foul and made the nice pass off to Heath Hughes, who should have gotten rid of the ball. He took a nice check over there.
Hempstead has cashed in on 2 man-up goals, and they'll have another opportunity here as we'll have a man heading to the penalty box. Tom, did you see, was it a minute or 30 seconds?
No, 1 minute for a slash.
All right, it was a 1-minute call, and Hempstead has time now to set it up. This is Duncan.
They're in their 3-3 here.
18 in the game is C.J. Cousins. That is he with the ball. Cousins, 5'11" junior.
If Uniondale works the ball hard to the left here, they'll get something out of it.
They go to Jones. Oh, and a good shot and a save. Scoop 4.
Let me put it, they'll get a good attempt out of it because Gorwowski stopped it.
Oh, Barrett had the shot there, and it was knocked away. 6:50 to go. This is Barrett. Did he step on the end line, or what's the call?
The cage was knocked loose there.
It was dislodged, right?
By the activity, and the referee just wanted to straighten it out so your righties or lefties wouldn't have any advantage. See another fine save here on the replay coming up.
That was Barrett. He struck.
Right. Nice play by the defenseman on Uniondale, kicking it out from behind him too. That was Arn Johnson.
Watch Tyrone Payne now with the ball. He has 13 goals, 15 assists. And as Barrett tried to take the shot, he was checked. Good defensive effort by Uniondale. Very aggressive here. Duncan's got it. He's got an open man cross field. He gets it to Jones. This is Darrell Jones, who's so nifty.
He's got a great knack of pulling the stick.
Barrett rifles one wide, but it'll be retained by Hempstead as they're first to the ball. Penalty still in effect. Engelman in the box.
You're getting a lot of opportunities here, but they're not getting them on cage right now. And you're out on their outside shots, Barry.
Tyrone Payne, keep an eye on Engelman. Barrett, again, partially blocked, and it goes wide.
Yep. They're just coming in now. It seems like a strange time. He's out of the box, but the ball was out of play.
Heath Hughes trying to get it in front. It comes back across midfield, and this is Falcone looking for the transition here, being chased by Murphy. Falcone with good speed. Murphy all over him. Falcone had it dislodged, gets it back.
Trying to dodge against the zone here is tough. He gives it off.
This is Engelman, partially deflected. Picked up by Conwell. Falcone loves that angle. Good save by Scott.
That's right.
And this is Barrett, or rather Brian Duncan, up the right sideline. Being chased from behind. Duncan being chased by Mattingly. And he scores. A great individual effort by Brian Duncan as he came down the right wing. Karwoski upset either at his teammate or something because he is angry. Karwoski tried to stop him one-on-one. I think he's upset at his teammate.
I think he should be upset. It was pretty evident there that the Hempstead player was going right to the goal, and he wasn't going to stop. None of the defensemen slid.
Mitch Rojas is the guy that they're all talking to.
Yeah.
And both his teammate, Zachary Porsopoulos, Mitch Jr., good speed.
Sometimes the seniors always yell at the juniors, too. You know, it happens. But I really firmly believe there the Uniondale defenseman believed that their midi was going to be able to match him stride for stride, which he couldn't do.
Yeah, Duncan comes up with the goal, and for Duncan, that's his second of the game. 33rd of the season at 4:27 to give Hempstead the 3-2 lead. Now this is Hempstead again on the attack. Art Barrett to Jones, off the head of over the head of Payne as he goes for the ball.
Nice slide by Pusparellis there.
This is Heath Hughes behind the cage. Hempstead, an explosive team. They can score in bunches. A lot of cutters. Knocked down. Oh, nice play by Karwoski as he was able to control it.
Just another thing that a goalie can do to help out, make his team better, is be a little active picking off those feeds.
Falcone checked. Continues to play nicely and gets it upfield. This is number 18, Frank Altamura, number 18. Frank, 5'9", 150-pound junior, who has scored 1 goal, playing on the second midfield. Delayed penalty coming up.
We got offsides on Heath Hughes.
Offside.
Will now come down and play some defense.
Hempstead, delayed call. Nice move by Conwell. Looking to set it up. Behind the cage, Conwell. Engelman wants it in front in the crease.
They're playing 6 against 7 here. They patiently keep it in the box. He forced him out right there.
So that, of course, means the whistle. Stopping play as DeLillis could not keep it in the box, but they will have a man-up situation here, and it should be, what, a 30-second?
30 seconds for offsides, right.
So we are down to 4:17, Tom Flatley, and an important man-up situation for Uniondale. They scored a man-up goal earlier.
1 for 2. There was a nice... Heath Hughes was offsides. He saw the referees caught him, so he turned around and went right back down and played defense, which is what an attackman should do.
So let's see if Uniondale in their 30 seconds can take advantage of the situation here. They're still playing without Bobby Borden.
He has his shoe off over there. It looks like they're taping his ankle.
All right, they set it up. Number 18 out on top is Frank Altamura. Engelman, 56.
Cut to a 1-4-1.
This is Conwell.
Try to draw Falcone's side right here. He should have given him the ball.
Conwell lost it. Falcone going for that ground ball. Scoops it up. Double team by 2 men as Jones and Murphy were on him.
One of them's going to go for a hold. Ball's loose, though. Call it loose, so it's going to be Uniondale's possession.
Penalty still in effect, however, and about 15 seconds have elapsed.
Falcone does a fine job all over the field, picking up loose balls and everything else.
Falcone, they've got a new man in there, Kenny Barron, number 20 for Uniondale, playing in the crease. This is Engelman.
We're even.
Penalty is over, so both teams 6 against 6 here. Actually 6 against 7 if you count the goaltender. Nice play as coming out with it is DeLillis. Checked by Murphy. Look at Murphy.
DeLillis had to switch to his right hand and make the pass there, and that enabled Hempstead to take it away.
Falcone back, coming in one-on-one against Duncan.
Very hard to dodge against the zone because they always have that backer in there.
And the shot stopped by the goaltender, Scott.
Stuck on the net down low by the pipe, which makes it the defensive ball. A young and experienced goalie would sometimes try to kick it out, which is the wrong thing to do. Just call the attention of the official, and he should have give it.
Well, Scott, as you talked about, an All-American candidate, very quick, super one-on-one player. He's been accepted at Hobart, Hofstra, Maryland, some schools that are very much interested in him.
I'm sure his phone is ringing many nights because he's one of the better goaltenders in the country.
Save percentage, almost 70%.
And I think
scored a goal and has had 4 assists this year, too.
Well, quickness. But right now, Murphy's been hit with a 1-minute slash for Hempstead, and Uniondale's got that man up again.
Well, now an opportunity once again. They trail by a goal. They can tie it in this low-scoring first half. 3:02 to go.
The ball's only been in Hempstead's end about 10% of this whole quarter, Barry.
Now Hempstead with the big sticks as they've got new personnel in the game. Nice play. Barrett with a good look, and Payne with the goal. Duncan, rather, with a good look. I said it was Barrett, but it was Duncan, 25, who fed Payne. And off the unsettled situation, down a man, they come up with a goal.
That's right. Alert movement down the field, started by the defenseman, number 62, I believe that is. Number 42, it could be Dina.
It was 62, I think.
Right, it goes over here. Barrett to Duncan to Payne. Payne really just knows where he is and puts it right in there. That's you know, a tough one for Uniondale to take there. You're a man up and working for it, and all of a sudden it's in your
Those
goal.
short-handed goals
Penalty's
really,
over.
Really hurt you when you have a man-up power play opportunity. 2:51 remaining as they talk it over, Hempstead. That gives you a big lift psychologically, too, obviously, when you're a man down and you score a goal, which is pretty difficult. And we'll be back in a moment. 2:51 to go. Hempstead by 2. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
The university, locus for clear and consistent thinking, the appreciation of our cultural heritage, the advancement of knowledge, the intellectual growth of students, and the essential preparation for a chosen career. And most important, the free inquiry after truth. The university is St. John's.
Barry Landers along with Tom Flatley back at Uniondale High School, where you're looking at Uniondale huddled around Coach Pat Shea. Let's give credit to a good defensive play, Tom Flatley, to Mark Chambers, number 62. We didn't have him listed earlier, but he's the man who made that play defensively and helped set up the goal on the man-down situation.
That's where it started, Barry. Things like that don't show up in the statistics of goals and assists, but the play started with him passing the ball quickly upfield to Barrett, to Duncan, to Payne.
All right, Uniondale still has the man-up in effect. It's got wiped out because they did come over the restraining line, so that not only negates they not only scored a goal, but you don't have the power play in effect anymore. So that doubly hurts you. All right, as they battle for the loose ball, Hempstead comes up with it. Hempstead's made some changes here. We'll pick him up. Darryl Goins, number 8 in the game. They've gone to a second and third midfield unit right now.
Now trying to get him a little run. I think this could be his third unit just before the half here.
Hughes loses the ball, and boy, he's upset.
That's right. And I think he better check the head of his stick, because I think he might have lost the top of his stick when he slammed on the ground.
Zachary Porsporellis rather, will play it. Number 77. Now Hughes is going to get an equipment repair as he comes over to the side. They're going to get a new stick. He just hands it.
It's like somebody breaking their 7-iron, Barry. You know, it feels good when you throw it, but when you have to pay $40 for a new one, it's not as much fun.
There's Heath Hughes. The Hempstead coaches, I'll tell you, they give a lot of credit to Jay Runak, who's helped their goaltenders, especially this year. Jay, a part-timer, coming out helping on his own as we watch Porcepellis try to clear it himself, and he does with the big stick. Controls nicely.
He's gone all the way.
Got an opportunity, but checked from behind by Barrett.
That speed ran him down.
How hard is it to control with those big sticks?
It's hard to dodge, Barry. There's some real good ones at it. Plus, Boris did a fine job right there.
Number 9, Sean Waterford. 5'7" 140-pound junior. John Tonelli type. Let's watch him. And it's taken away. This is on the opportunity. Falcone. And he scores his third of the game. And he's checked hard, but he comes up.
That's right.
And Falcone, off the unsettled situation, they cashed in on the second midfield unit. And they come up, coming right back within 1. It's 4-3.
Comes up with a loose ball and just goes. You'll see him shot coming here. He just scoops right through it. It's really a 2-on-3. He comes down, veers to his right. We'll see where he puts the shot. He takes a good hit from Brazil right after it, but he put it right off the pipe and in. Right back low to the goalie side.
Indeed, he made a good move on Aaron Cross, who's usually a tough stopper.
Yeah, well, I think Pee-wee would like to have another chance at saving that. When you got a goalie moving to his left, you always try to shoot back to his right, because it's hard for them to get back, and Falcone put that in the correct place.
Big face-off here. Uniondale with 1:45 would like to get the ball and tie it. And as they battle for it, Falcone and Jones got a call, and it'll go against Falcone.
It's a legal procedure. He might be raising his left hand a little too soon on that, which is a violation of the rules. Again, with 3 referees, you'll catch more of those.
So, with the ball, the very dangerous number 19, Artie Barrett, with 32 goals coming in. This is to Jones. Low shot. Karwoski blocked it. Having trouble controlling that ground ball as it's loose. And going after it was number 1 for Hempstead, but it went out. Number 1 for Hempstead, not listed.
Billy Pearson, I think, is sophomore.
No, I think yeah, number 1 is Billy Pearson. Right. Okay. This is Jones, number 10. Knocked down again by Karwoski, but the defense having trouble getting to the ball.
It almost looked like a zone that time, Barry.
They scramble for the ball. 1:05 to go here in the first half. Uniondale wants to get it out of there, but Jones, as the alert man, picks it up, and they'll set it up again as it comes outside the restraining area.
Hempstead ringed that loose ball, which is what you want to do. Al Jones firing into Falcone that time.
And Heath Hughes trying to get it. It was knocked away from him. Up the sideline with 45 seconds to go. Jones will chase it down. And a timeout called by Hempstead's Al Hodish. So they'll have possession with 43 seconds. There's a look at Al, and he has done a fine job at Hempstead. They've had a great program, as you pointed out, over the years. He wants to credit not only Jay Runak, who's working with his goaltenders, but John Romano, who's an assistant in his first year. I think he was involved up at Westminster, up in Massachusetts. They've had a fine program over the years.
That's right. I see Chuck Sherwood over on the bench, former goalie from Hempstead, and now at Duke University.
Let's take a look at the scoring, Tom, and see if we can pick anything out here. Of course, you can see it's been very close. Second quarter began with the score tied, or rather with Hempstead. And at the end of the first quarter, it was 2-1 Hempstead leading, and Uniondale tied it on the goal by Falcone at 19 seconds, and then it was 3-2 in favor of Hempstead as Duncan scored at 4:27. 4-2 they took the lead as Payne scored at 7:09, and Falcone, who's had all 3 of his team's goals, coming back at 8:14 to make it 4-3. That's the way we stand with 43 seconds left.
I just feel that, you know, Falcone's put on a tremendous individual effort. Sooner or later, it takes too much out of you. Hempstead has got several people who go to the goal. They've got Barrett, they've got Jones, and of course Duncan, and they have a lot more offense. Uniondale's done, to me, a very commendable job of staying this close, this long.
Absolutely, they are undermanned. They do not have the depth in numbers, nor certainly in talent. A lot of times you can negate that. Some aggressive
See what Al's
play.
set up here.
Yep.
I think he's only got 5 players on the field. Somebody was missing. Here comes Anderson out now.
And Duncan behind the cage. Trying to come out in front. Flag goes down. A delayed call against Uniondale. As Payne with 20 seconds. Uniondale trying to get possession. Comes out of the restraining area. And now the play in effect, or rather the whistle blows, stopping play.
We have a slash. I think it's against number 14 from Uniondale. Hempstead's going to be up a man for a minute. Not sure. The defender is going off there. Looks like number 14. Headed toward the box.
Well, it looks like, is it number 11? No.
B.
Or is it a number 14? They told us that number 14 wasn't going to be dressing today. We don't have him.
Whoever it is wearing 14.
Yeah, well, that's what happens sometimes. Number 14 for Uniondale. We'll find out. He's not listed on the.
That's right.
More importantly, 5 seconds to go, and we got a whistle.
All right, Hempstead just took a timeout with 4 seconds left in the quarter, and a man up.
All right, let's
I would expect they'd hold the ball right now.
Let's identify that player. Number 14 is Jeff Green, the defender, 6 foot and 80-pound senior, who we had been told was wearing a different number 7 on our program. So we beg your pardon. Jeff, by the way, one of the fastest players on the team in clearing the ball. First full year, and has seen some action today. And right now, 4 seconds remain in the first half. We invite you to stay tuned for our halftime guest, Jim Condon, athletic director here at Uniondale High School. And Tom, you've known Jim long time, and he has meant a lot to lacrosse here in Long Island.
Well, it certainly has. When I first started teaching, Jimmy was over at Flower Park, and we were in the same district for a number of years. And when he had the opportunity to come over to Uniondale as the district athletic director, it was a good thing for Uniondale and a good thing for lacrosse in general. He comes to the coaches' meetings. He's very active on the state level, and he does a lot to try to, you know, make lacrosse more in evidence in the newspapers and certainly statewide. Upstate now, they have a poll, Barry, which we're going to have to get mailed to our station, where they rank all the teams in the state. I think it, and they do, you know, a pretty good job. I'm sure the number 1 and right now has got to be West Genesee, unless they were upset Friday night.
Well, he also very active and was an outstanding collegiate official for many years. And we'll have play resuming here. And as you said, they'll probably just eat up the 4 seconds.
I think that's why
possession.
Al called the timeout, because he saw the guy was
And
possible
there the
pass
clock
was coming.
continues to tick as Duncan holds the ball. So when the second half starts, instead of a face-off, it'll be a man-up situation and possession for the Hempstead Tigers as they go off with a 4-3 lead at halftime. Tom Flatley, they just had a bit of a surprise.
Certainly has been, Barry. They've done a good job.
We'll be back with our halftime guest in a moment. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
A Genovese, and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, as it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genovese is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
Olympic Commemorative Coins presents Olympic Gold Moments. Mexico City, 1968. The greatest field of women half-milers ever is assembled for the 800-meter run. America's Madeline Manning takes the lead like it's a 100-meter dash, but there's a long way to go. Can she sustain the tough pace she's setting? Romania's Seeley passes her on the inside and goes for the lead. Can Manning come back?
We'll be right back with the conclusion of that gold moment. Did you know that America doesn't support its Olympic team with tax dollars? That's why it's so important you support your team for '84. When you purchase Olympic commemorative coins from the U.S. Treasury, the Olympians get valuable support, and you get priceless memories of the L.A. Games. And now the conclusion of our gold moment.
Manning's challenging Seeley's lead. Manning pours it on. Look at her go. She looks great. She's demolishing a great field. It's a new Olympic record and a gold medal for the USA. Turn precious metal into Olympic medals. Support the home team.
Back at Uniondale High School, Barry Landers with a very dear and good old friend of mine, Jim Condon. And we worked together doing some games on the Long Island Sports Network a few years ago. Jim, you're athletic director. You wear a lot of hats here at Uniondale. Yes. Athletic director, lacrosse chairman for the county, and then certainly involved with the state playoffs as well. I know you're pretty pleased at halftime. Your club playing very well.
Yes, they're doing quite well. We thought we'd get blown out, but they're hanging in there tight, doing well, real good.
Kowalski has played well as a goaltender. You've been able to shut down that very potent Hempstead offense so far, and Falcone playing individually outstanding lacrosse.
Kowalski, a real spirited young man, goes out after that ball. He's helping us quite a bit. And of course, Falcone is a super athlete, and he does the work.
Jim, we're just about halfway through the regular season as far as the league play is concerned. Let's turn the clock ahead to the playoffs. Nassau County playoffs this year. I know last year was very spirited. You have 43 teams playing lacrosse in the county. What, 24 will make it? Just
24.
tell us the rundown of how it'll eventually emerge into a champion.
Okay, the top 24 will be seeded at a seeding meeting prior to the playoffs, with the winners of the divisions getting, of course, the bye date. And then they'll play through till we get to the 29th of May, and that will be the finals at Hofstra.
And that, of course, will be preceded by a big doubleheader at Hofstra in the semifinals. And then it'll be Nassau versus Suffolk. And then there'll be the championship games of each county will be played at Hofstra again this year.
Yes. As a matter of fact, May 29th, when we have our sectional final, Section 11 will have their final at the same time, 6 and 8. And then the winners of those will play the next night. And then we'll go on from there. And we'll have the winners from Section 11 versus Section 8, Section 9, Section 1, and the winner of the Section 2 situation.
So eventually we could be faced with a situation where the Long Island champ possibly would be going up against a team from Westchester. And then beyond that, you were telling me that there's a possibility this year beyond that game that on June 9th there could be an even higher sectional game, an Eastern Regional sectional championship.
The Eastern Regional will be on the 5th, and on the 9th will be the state finals. And this year we decided, since there's an East Conference champion, it has to be played either at Union College, which we don't think will make it, the Albany area, Mikey Stadium, which will not be available because they're changing the turf up there. It'll have to be at Hofstra on June 9th.
So there's
state finals.
So the state final, that's a new bit of information. The state finals then could be played at Hofstra on June 9th, and I know down here on the island we're all looking forward to that.
We are certainly doing that. Another thing I want to talk to you about, we got a new section coming in this year, Section 10, up in the top of the state, Messina, New York. And they have a Canadian team, Indians, and it could be a possibility long as it may be, that we could have a Canadian team in the New York State Finals.
Well, that would be remarkable indeed. I know the growth of lacrosse has really burgeoned throughout the state, throughout the country. Jim, talk a little bit about it.
Oh, going back when I had 4 or 5 teams, the city had some teams, and then it just blossomed like you couldn't believe. Good weather, good fields, good coaching. The kids pick up the stick. It's really come a long way.
43 of Nassau's 56 schools are playing lacrosse. Jim, is there talk about some other schools adding lacrosse?
Well, we just had one start, Jamaica. First PSAL team. And as things will grow, maybe we'll get to like with basketball, with a federation-type playoff. The PSAL, the parochial schools, the private schools, and the state schools.
My guest has been Jim Condon, athletic director, section chairman for lacrosse in Nassau County, and of course also involved with the New York State hierarchy in lacrosse. Jim, thanks for inviting us down and for hosting this doubleheader.
Thank you. And let me tell you, you do a great job for high school sports. Super.
All right.
Appreciate it.
We'll be back, Tom Flatley and I, with the second half in just a moment. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
The university, locus for clear and consistent thinking, the appreciation of our cultural heritage, the advancement of knowledge, the intellectual growth of students, and the essential preparation for a chosen career. And most important, the free inquiry after truth. The university is St. John's.
Come into Genovese and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, as it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genovese is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
Back at Uniondale High School, Barry Landers and Tom Flatley, where Uniondale is trailing Hempstead 4-3. Hempstead will have a man-up situation in effect when play resumes here in the second half. Let's check the halftime statistics right now. And Tom, as you can see, it's 16-14, Hempstead by 2 over Uniondale. Saves Hempstead with 4, and Uniondale's goaltender Warkowski playing excellently, who has 7. Ground ball's pretty even, face-off's pretty even too.
Right, the saves by the Uniondale goalie have been of the tough variety.
All right, let's see if Hempstead can cash in. They've had a couple of man-up goals here. We'll re-identify the players. That's Payne behind the cage. Heath setting up in the crease. It goes on the near side. Barrett shot hit the pipe. Hit the pipe, partially deflected, perhaps by the goaltender. Uniondale having trouble trying to get control of it. Payne, or rather Barrett, will pick it up, number 19, Art Barrett. Penalty is still in effect now as he drops it back. This is Duncan. Thrown away as he tried to get it to number 10, Jones. Jones makes a nice play.
Smart heads-up play there.
Back out it goes. In front, Payne off the good look by Duncan, but the shot was deflected, and we'll have another one here.
It's in there, Barry.
It did go in. All right.
It went right in and stuck right in the back of the net.
I beg your pardon.
On it.
Let's take another look at it.
Jones starts the play by coming up with a loose ball and gets it out top to Duncan. Nice camera shot from behind here. You see Payne make a nice cut.
Yep, there it is, right in there. So they
another
scored.
extra man goal there.
And Hempstead has scored 3 of their 5 goals on man-up situations, and 1 of their goals, Tom Flatley, on a man down.
That's right.
So their specialty team has been outstanding. 9:19 to go. And let's see how Uniondale will bounce back here. They decided underdogs. In case you missed it, Bobby Borden, their outstanding player, twisted his ankle late in the first quarter. He's been out ever since, will not play. Foul called on for the face-off with Jones, I believe. Let's see if it is Jones.
Jones really gets low over the ball there. He's got a great build for a face-off man. He raked it out that time. Falcone managed to check his stick.
Well, Barrett comes up with it. Payne couldn't handle it off the good look by Barrett. Might have been a little too low to handle.
Could be. Payne's got a nice knack of sneaking to that open corner.
So Uniondale will get it.
Hempstead looks like they're going to their three-man zone ride here, which they do very effectively.
Number 11 for Uniondale is not listed on our program, and we'll try to find out who it is for you. Now number 14, that's Jeff Green, number 14. Dropping it back to the goaltender, who's played well, Hank Kurwoski. He'll look to clear against this ride.
Now they have a cutoff man. You'll see Duncan will pick up the first pass no matter where it goes, and Payne comes back. They cover everybody else man-to-man on the defensive and the midfield end.
Loose ball picked up by Scott, checked away. This is DeLillis having trouble with the ground ball, and Barrett comes in to rake it up. He's got good speed, number 19, Art Barrett. They've got the fast break in effect here.
Clement Boyd was open in front there.
They've called a hold. It'll be blue ball.
So Barrett saw him, but the pass again went a little low, just like the last one to Payne.
Number 24, Clement Boyd, you just saw in your picture. Junior attackman with 4 goals on the year. Hempstead very deep, as we pointed out. They're making substitutions right now as they make midfield, rather attack substitutions. We see a couple of players going out. Darrell Jones, a midfielder, has left.
Uniondale, it'd be a delay here. Uniondale right now is a man down. Falcone, it looks like they're making him put some tape on the butt end of the stick to keep the cap on.
Duncan has 4 assists, by the way, so far in the first half. Outstanding game for Duncan. Don't see anybody in the box yet.
They're just waiting on equipment fixing there, I believe.
Falcone will be there. Still nobody in the penalty box. Have you seen
it? It's all even.
That
was a fine poke check right there by defenseman Mitch Rojas there, taking the ball away from Duncan.
So this is Kurwoski looking to clear. That's zone again they're setting up, right?
That's right. Just a three-man zone. Their speed, they can do it. And you usually don't get burnt when you use this kind of ride.
Osparellis with a big stick. Back to Kurwoski. 7:55 to go, third quarter. Hempstead leading by 2, 5-3. This is Jeff Green.
What they have to do is draw a man a play and then go 2-on-1 back to their left right now. If he moves the ball quickly to his left, but they're holding the ball too long, and that Hempstead's now stacked again. This time Payne will come over and cut off.
Now they will double team. They do draw the 2-man. Green hit. Knock ball. A loose foul.
Loose ball push it's going to be, so it's going to go Uniondale's way, I believe. They still got to clear it. They're going to give it to Falcone. He'll probably try to run by his man here.
Let's watch the double team and the loose ball.
They do a nice job. Right here, the check is good. Then as the ball comes loose, he continues on to push him, and that's it.
Falcone checked. Has it dislodged as he was checked by Rob Moore, number 4, 6'2", 175-pound sophomore.
We got a flag from the bench official over there. I believe it must have been offsides. He threw it.
Moore, a basketball player, excellent potential. Still needs to be developed as a nice shot. You mentioned Hempstead very deep. A lot of players would be starting on other teams, wouldn't they?
They certainly would. They have a good number of athletes involved in their program. We had offsides on Hempstead there, so the flag shouldn't have been thrown. It's going to be Uniondale's ball. Falcone's got it right by the midfield line and should be able to get it down and play a little offense, which they have had very little of.
It's given Hempstead a chance to make substitutions. Number 6, Andre Anderson, the number 1 midfield, comes in. He has 8 goals, 7 assists, 6'2", 185-pound sophomore. Also checking in, number 9, Sean Waterford, 5'7", 140-pound junior. Also the number 1 midfield. Now Waterford leaves as more substitutions are made. 62 going out is Mark Chambers as well. So now let's see what the changes are. They're getting new people more opportunities to play.
It's going to be a man down right now.
All right.
Uniondale's been ruled Hempstead offsides, which has been changed.
Now they have a man up, and Uniondale with a chance to get back within 1. This is Engelman. On the near side it goes. Conwell. Falcone, who has all 3 of his team's goals. Watch closely there now. Finds the opening shot, and a good save that time off the shot taken by Scott DeLillis. This is DeLillis, 23. Penalty is over, I believe.
That's right.
As Pearson has returned, he was serving the penalty. Or Person. Conwell. Bounced over the cage and a little upset with himself as he had an opportunity with Scott DeLillis as he was looking for his 10th goal of the year, the lefty.
All right, more important there.
Nobody was backing up.
That's right. Norm Dino was the closest man to it as it went out. It's going to be Hempstead's ball. See you right here. He comes around. It's a worthwhile attempt on the shot. They give him room. There's no backer. The other man from that far corner's got to slide.
Scott against aggressive ride here. That was Kenny Barron riding, number 20. Now we watch Arian Cross, 36, drop it off. This is Heath, 12. Heath Hughes.
Heath Hughes has now got a midfielder on him behind the cage. They didn't take advantage of it. They go to
and on a screen, Duncan just deflected wide.
Looks like it caught Kowalski in the ankle. He's hopping around.
Were any protection down on the ankles?
Some goalies do. Some will put hockey shin pads in there. Most of them feel that they don't. We still have some goalies that play without chest protectors if we let them.
So it'll be played by Barrett. Artie Barrett. Play it in. Barrett has had a good game. He's had a goal. His 33rd of the year. This is Barrett.
Uniondale double team very quick. He ran through the check.
Whoa, and a heavy hit in front. One of the Uniondale players, 0-0. Montez Johnson went down hard in the crease.
Montez is only a freshman, Barrett.
He's going to be some player, 6'1", 220, a fine football player. May get an opportunity here as Barrett rifles it wide, but Payne quick to the ball as he and Kowalski were racing for it.
Good move by Payne. He was sneaking to his corner there. Once he saw the shot line, he quickly sprinted to the back line to keep possession here. I don't know. We have little Uniondale's. One of their players thinks they're clearing. He's out of position right now.
5:35 to go, and they throw it away. So Uniondale will be clearing it. Down by 2, 5-3. Only one goal here in the third quarter. Payne, his 15th second of the game from Duncan. The third man-up goal that Hempstead has scored. They've sure scored a man-down goal as well. So their specialty units have been very effective today. Got to give Uniondale credit against the even strength situations. They have done an excellent job defensively.
They've played very well. Their defense, we played them the first game of the year. Their defense has improved tremendously, especially the stick work. They'll probably throw it away. I mentioned that.
This is Green, and he does throw it away.
That's right. Well, he threw it to somebody. It was an ill-advised pass.
Picked off by Billy Person. This is Heath Hughes, 12.
He's got a midfielder again if he can isolate on that. He's got a tremendous size advantage
Working
over
against
number
Frank
18.
Altamura, number 18, and they'll drop it to Barrett. Good check as trying to get the shot off was Brian Duncan.
Plus Bar Ellis again with a nice slide. Covered Duncan.
Steve Engelman. They're trying to come up, trying to get some advantage here. This is Falcone, who has all 3 goals. Scott with a quick stick, deflected it. And Scott looks for a quick clear. Nice.
Great outlet.
Up to Brian Duncan. You can get that going, you got the break. Try to go in front to Hughes. It was deflected away, and Jeff Green will pick it up. Trying to clear it. Pearson taken down, and we should have a call go against Glenn Falcone here.
We're gonna have a trip, I guess, here.
1 minute.
Should be. Should be.
Take a look at the collision between Falcone, 21, and number 1, Pearson.
I don't know. The stick went over the top of the head, but on the follow through, it looked like his Falcone's leg kicked out the leg of the Pearson there, who's down on the ground.
Well, he's improving all the time. Great skills for a sophomore. Good open field runner. Solid defensive player. Billy getting up. Scored only a couple of goals this year, playing on the number 2 midfield, but he's okay. And play will resume in a moment. It'll be a man-up situation. That's something that Hempstead has done very well today. Score on that man-up situations. They'll have an opportunity here.
Starting there 3-3 here. Andre Anderson and Al Jones on the wings with Duncan bringing the ball down.
Heath Hughes will set up in the crease. This is Anderson. Payne. Off of Jones, but he'll recover. Watched by Green. And also in there for Uniondale, number 4 is Tom Savio, the defender. Screen shot knocked down in front by Karwoski. Corsapella is trying to get it, number 77. Mitch Rojas also in there, and it's picked up by Barrett. Bad pass by Barrett, and it will go out and should go over to Uniondale.
A little bit sloppy there, Barry. Sometimes Barrett stick work looks like $1 million. Sometimes then he'll come down and throw one away. I just have a feeling watching that maybe he's got a pocket that's a little too deep in the stick.
And we'll have a Uniondale attempt to try to get it out. Green checked.
Tried to force
Lost
it.
the ball. He was checked and did lose it.
Good ride by Jones and Payne. They're still up, I believe.
They are, as Falcone is the man serving the penalty, and he'll be the man to come back on. Opportunity here. Barrett missing the pipe. And it stays blue ball as Payne to beat Karwoski to it as it was heading out over the back line. 3:25 to go. Third quarter. Hempstead leading it 5-3 in this league battle. Uniondale 1-3 in league play. Hempstead came in with a record of 2-1-1.
Hempstead's in a 1-3-2 now with Payne drawn over to Barrett's side.
Oh, good save by Karwoski as he robbed Barrett.
Falcone was hanging. He just came out of the penalty box.
All right, they've got the unsettled here and a 4-on-3 if they can go, and no flag. No, they now call the flag.
Yep. He got run down. Tremendous speed shown there by Barrett.
Brian Duncan, I think. Was it Brian Duncan, 25, who ran him down, or was it Barrett?
Duncan
Let's see.
Or Barrett, I'm not sure. You see it coming down right here.
Yep, it was Duncan.
He misses with a check. Looks like from the rear violation. Give Uniondale a man-up opportunity. Looks like Falcone's all right.
And a very important situation here developing for Falcone, but he's on the sideline right now. Pat Shea taking a look at him. And he's the guy that scored all 3 goals. You don't want to see him out of the game, but he will be out of the game for the beginning of this man-up situation.
Unless Pat takes a timeout, they're going to be, they'll probably score here because...
Looks like he wants a timeout, but he gets it just in
right,
time because they're ready to put the ball in play.
He's going to have to work, it's 2 people of his extra man offense that he doesn't have in there right now.
In case you missed it earlier, Bobby Borden, a fine crease attack and also midfielder. Hard-nosed player, 5'11", 165-pound senior, suffered an ankle injury in the first quarter. He has scored 18 goals this year, and he left the game. And you consider that. You consider the fact that Hempstead is an explosive team, and Uniondale very much in this game with a man-up situation for the next minute or so. They played a pretty sound game.
And Hempstead hasn't taken advantage of their speed too well. They've had several broken situations, and they've thrown the ball away. They have to be one of the quicker teams in the county.
And Karwoski has played an outstanding game.
He certainly has. It's been many key stops by him, and he's cleared the ball well also.
Well, we hope that you're enjoying the action on the Long Island Sports Network, wherever you're watching, throughout Nassau and Suffolk counties on the various cable systems. And if you'd like to write to us, Tom and I would love to hear from you. If you've got some comments or criticisms, questions about our coverage, why not drop us a line, and perhaps you've got some thoughts about whether a team that you're involved in you'd like to see them on the LISN. Drop us a line, care of Cablevision, 3 Media Crossways, Woodbury, New York 11797. That's Cablevision, 3 Media Crossways, Woodbury, New York 11797. Still to come, we've got some outstanding lacrosse in Suffolk County. We'll have a big doubleheader. Huntington will take on Comstock in one game, and Walt Whitman will take on Sachem in the other. And I know, Tom, we're looking forward to seeing some of the Suffolk County teams.
Right, I believe that's middle of the following week, Barry.
You know, people wonder why we select certain games. We don't always try to go after the very best teams. We look for competitive matchups and give as many schools a chance to show their programs. We feel come playoff time, the very best schools will be represented in the playoffs.
Well, the best will be there, and Hempstead we've had on, they might be there. Hicksville got upset today. When you get down to the Final Four, I'm sure you'll see your Farmingdales and Manhassets.
All right, let's see if they can cash in on a man-up situation as they control outside here. DeLillis, 23. Conwell cut off there. Back to DeLillis. In front, good look and a score. Beautiful look. Kenny Barron, the goal, his 7th of the year. The 5'6", 135-pound senior who scored 2 against East Meadow, 2 against Holy Family, gets a big goal, a tough little scrapper, and he comes up with a goal. Kenny Barron, only 5'6", 135.
That was a nice cut on their extra man into the center of the area. He took a awful tough check after he did it. But good look, and he's got his stick open, which is all you need.
DeLillis found him open, and he rifled it with the right hand to make it 5-4. Man-up goal for Barron from DeLillis at 7:13.
That's Uniondale's second man-up goal of the game, Barry. 2 for 6, I have.
5-4 is the score, so we've got quite a game on our hands here.
Falcone's back. He's facing off.
And this is Duncan, who committed that foul that cost him a goal. Anderson rifles it, deflected by Karwoski.
That's right. Looks like some of these shots should go down lower.
He went up high on Karwoski.
Anderson's another fine athlete who we haven't talked much about today, but he's a tailback on the football team. He's a sophomore.
Tom, of course, you know all about those football players.
We've played Hempstead at Garden City and at Sewanaka.
Tom, assistant coach at Garden City in football. And, of course, varsity lacrosse coach at Sewanaka. Karwoski with a long clear.
Smart play. He was hemmed in by 2 defenders.
All right.
Nice check by Cross, too.
DeLillis lost his stick. Couldn't get it. 2:12 to go, third quarter. 5-4 is the score. Biggest lead either club has had, Tom, has been a 2-goal lead.
That's right. It's been a lot closer game, Barry, than I expected. And, you know, you should get later into these games, close games. Anything can happen.
Watching now as Hempstead tries to break it. Darrell Goins, number 8. 5'11", 160-pound junior. Very quick. He's the quickest on the team. And Karwoski comes up with the save off the shot by Goins.
Shot it low. Kowalski's hands are very, very quick. And he also beat Payne to the line, so it's going to go to the Knights.
Now, Uniondale trying to pull off the upset. There's a look at saves. Uniondale's Karwoski with 12, and the All-American candidate Scott with 6, and just a 1-goal difference.
Yeah, well, I think Hempstead's really been controlling the ball this period, and I think when we check the stats at the end of this period, you'll see that Hempstead's taking the lead in shots and territorial play, definitely.
Posperellis back to Karwoski, who's been a leader for them today.
Uniondale's had trouble clearing it. Again, they're not forcing somebody to play him. You got to create a 2-on-1 against this kind of ride that Hempstead's using.
It's a young defense. Arn Johnson, number 39 on the near side. First year that he's been playing lacrosse. Gets it up to Engelman, checked. And back comes the speedy Barrett. Art Barrett, chased by Engelman. Unsettled here. And deflected over the cage, over the back line. It'll still be Hempstead ball.
And Barrett ran right through the check of the defenseman there and got his shot off, which is very hard in front of those creases there. I think this one bounced completely over Karwoski.
1:20 to go. Barrett. Duncan setting up in the crease.
There it goes.
This is Pearson or Person. Barrett. Payne. Checked by Arn Johnson. Payne was a moment ago. That's Jones under a minute to go in the quarter.
This was very deliberate.
Hughes missed by Payne as the pass was a little bit astray.
Look, Payne made a nice cut to get open.
Picked up by the guy who scored a few moments ago, Kenny Barron. As Uniondale looks to tie up this game with 40 seconds to go. Falcone intercepted.
Didn't get enough on the pass. The man was open to Lillis, but the pass hung in the air.
Billy Pearson trying to come out. And we have a timeout, I believe.
No, got to be a penalty over there.
Against Uniondale. Right. Costly call. It'll give Hempstead a man up, and they have done very well in those situations, Tom Flatley.
I have 2 for 4, which is 50%, which is great. They got 30 seconds to work it, and you'll probably see them if they don't have a shot with 5 seconds to go. They'll hold it and start off this period with the ball again.
Now Jim Condon, pleased that his Uniondale High School Knights have hung in very tough here. Now man-up situation. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. This is Andre Anderson, number 6. Gets it back. Payne in front, knocked away. Picked up by Duncan. Good save, Karwoski, as he scoops it up. Now knocked away by Heath. A scramble for it. Comes back out to Duncan. 7 seconds to go. That should do it for the quarter. And will end here in a moment as they battle for the loose ball. But again, Karwoski came up big.
Certainly did. Duncan had good power on that shot. The ball was loose as time ran out, so it will be a face-off when the fourth period begins.
And we'll be back in a moment with the fourth quarter. There's a look at Pat Shea. He's happy. His club comes back strong. They trail by 1. We're headed to the fourth quarter, and you're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
The university, locus for clear and consistent thinking, the appreciation of our cultural heritage, the advancement of knowledge, the intellectual growth of students, and the essential preparation for a chosen career. And most important, the free inquiry after truth. The university is St. John's.
Come into Genovese and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, as it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genovese is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
Back at Uniondale High School, Barry Landers along with Tom Flatley. Uniondale trailing Hempstead 5-4. Hempstead dominated possession-wise and shot-wise, Tom Flatley in that third quarter. But Kowarski stopped him, held him to just 1 goal, and it's 5-4 as we head into the fourth quarter.
Certainly, Barry, Hempstead had 10 shots that period, and only 1 goal. Kowarski's save total is now 12 compared to 6 for Scott of Hempstead. And, you know, I think the number of people is just wearing Uniondale down, although they're still in the game. Big face-off right here, because if Hempstead gets it, they will have a man advantage for another 30 seconds.
Well, there's a Uniondale player in the box right now. Hempstead, the heavy favorite here. With outstanding offense, great speed. And they have been able to cash in on a couple of their man-up situations and one of their men-down situations. 3 of their 5 goals have come on the specialty teams. Big one here, Falcone and Jones. Falcone 21 against Jones in blue, number 10. And we get a good look at the face-off, Tom.
That's right, nice angle from behind. Jones will mix up. Sometimes he'll clamp, sometimes he'll rake. This time he tried to rake it out and use his quickness. Falcone stepped into him.
And Falcone's got it. Engelman, good scoop. And they come down. Engelman continues to control.
Right there in the box.
And as he gets it in, the penalty now over as he had possession in the box. Both teams at full strength. Green battling for the loose ball with Andre Anderson. And it's picked up by Jones. Ryan Duncan, 25. Watched by Adamura, rather. Now Barrett will play it. Trying to isolate here against Engelman. They clear out the side. Oh, what a save by Karwoski in front.
Payne got free again. It's a good look by Barrett.
This is Duncan, double team. Loose. And Falcone picks it up. Falcone will start up, chased by Payne up the near sideline. Crosses midfield, checked hard, loses the ball. Conwell after it, trying to rake it. And it's recovered by Murphy, 64 for Hempstead. Double teamed as he goes behind his own goal. Controls with that big stick. Oh, dangerous pass, but he got it to Scott.
Got away with it.
Could not be picked up. Loose. Can they come up with a ground ball, Uniondale? Falcone after it. But Duncan's got it. He's checked. And Kenny Barron, who's been hustling, or rather Frank Adamura, can't control it. Goes out. It'll be Hempstead ball. 1 minute, 42 seconds gone, fourth quarter. Hempstead leading 5-4. And it'll be Hempstead possession. Leading scorers in the game today so far have been for Hempstead. A couple of guys who have had an outstanding game. Duncan has had 4 assists to go along with a goal. And Barrett, I believe, has scored 1 goal. We'll pick up the other
by number 9 out there. That's Sean Waterford.
and Sean Waterford.
Right, just an outside shot. I don't think Kowalski saw that one
That was a big goal indeed. So Sean Waterford, number 9, 5'7", 140-pound junior, who has excellent quickness, a catalyst, sacrifices body, as we told you earlier, comes up with his 3rd goal of the year. Here's a look at Sean.
That seemed awful easy compared to all the tough ones they have.
Take a look at it here.
You just see with Barrett, gets an assist on this one. He just comes over. Waterford just lets it go from a fairly long range.
Long range, a surprising goal, 155 the time, and Kowalski has stopped many more difficult shots.
That might have hit something in front or an ankle the way he was looking around after it. Gives him a little cushion. Nice play off the face-off.
Indeed. Anderson's look inside, broken up.
Right, he should have gone to the point, man. He just comes right back with the ball.
Anderson, good pass to Payne as he drew the goalie out. And look at the Payne high-stepping.
That's right,
Payne gives it that fancy move. I don't think our camera caught that. It was a la the football players who, of course, do their fancy moves after scoring.
That's one of the, like on the skates, too, when they hop up and down.
One of the Hempstead players got checked in front and is down, but getting up slowly. Tough guy, and it is Andre Anderson. But Tyrone Payne gets the goal, his 14th goal. Is that his 3rd of the game? Yeah, it's his 16th goal, as he's had a big game from Anderson at 210, and the 6'2", 185-pound sophomore, who's checked that, the 5'4", 135-pound junior. Payne gets the goal. As we told you about, a little dynamo, pound for pound, as tough as they come, isn't he?
Well, Anderson made a very nice play there. He tried to throw to Payne on the fast break, and Payne was covered. The ball was deflected. He came back up with it, went through the check, which got him hurt, and dished it off.
Timeout taken. 2 goals, 15 seconds apart. And you see that often in lacrosse, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, especially when you may have that play off the face-off. That ball came up. Face-off man from Hempstead got right where he wanted to and passed it to Anderson, who made an intelligent break to the cage there.
Well, you had talked about the possibility of Uniondale undermanned without Bobby Borden, without some real depth on the squad, being outmanned as the game goes on, worn down more or less.
That's right. Falcones had to play the whole game pretty much, and the last time when the ball was loose, he just couldn't go after it anymore.
Well, that man-up goal gave them the 2-goal edge, and now they've taken their largest lead of the day, a 3-goal lead, as Payne scores his 16th. So they've gotten help from some guys who, aren't their major goal scorers, guys like Payne, and of course Duncan coming up with 4 assists.
Oh, they're fine ball players. Hempstead has an awful lot of offensive guns, although the ball is pretty much stays in the sticks of Duncan and Barrett most of the time. But yeah. Waterford, Jones, they're fine offensive players, as is Heath Hughes and Tyrone Payne.
Duncan known more for his scoring. He had 31 goals, but today he's had 4 or 5 assists. And here is Duncan again coming up with it. Good face-off man. Around 65% of his face-offs. He controls nicely. Number 9 with it is Sean Waterford.
Good check by Falcone.
Watford along the near side, ball goes out of play.
A nice check. Uniondale player there, number 18, turned the wrong way. Frank Adamuro, and the Hempstead man was right on him. Just good pressure.
So Hempstead's Heath Hughes behind the cage.
Uniondale's now pretty much playing a zone right now. They're not covering hard behind.
Ball goes out, and the clock stops with 7:12 to go. Hempstead leading by 3. Hope you're enjoying the action here on the Long Island Sports Network. Reminder, lacrosse fans will be carrying the Nassau and Suffolk County individual county championship games here in the LISN, as well as the Long Island Championship, Nassau versus Suffolk, which will be part of the state tournament, and the Catholic League Championship, as well as some very fine high school baseball. And we're looking forward to that, Glenn Goldberg, as we'll have the American League and National League Conference Championships, and then Nassau versus Suffolk in the Regional Baseball Championship. All sponsored by our fine friends at Genevieve's Drugstores throughout Long Island, St. John's University, and Adelphi. Hope you'll patronize all those fine sponsors as well. We're down to 6:56 to go. Uniondale will get possession. Falcone, who has scored 3 of his team's 4 goals. Trying to spin away, as it knocked away. Barrett.
Got a push over there. At the time
loose
the ball was loose.
Foul. It'll stay in the hands of Hempstead. Calling a push.
Eddie Schreiber over there making the call.
Beautiful sunshiny day. Temperatures in the 60s. Windy at the present time, but couldn't ask for better weather, Tom Flatley, could you?
Yeah, compared to some of the other days we've had this spring, this is a delight.
Monsoons. Every time there seems to be a game, we've had bad weather. Of course, you Hofstra Delphi fans, we had to postpone one game from our television schedule because of the inclement weather a couple of weeks ago. All right, this is number 25, Duncan.
Went to his left that time.
Arwaski stopped it. 0-0. Montez Johnson, the freshman that Tom talked about earlier, trying to get it. They try to clear. And one player
at the line,
pushed.
right?
It was Barron who fell over. However, they're going to say it's Hempstead ball. They say Barron fell over on his own, so it's Hempstead.
I don't know. Mr. LaCour might have been screened out on that. Mr. Schreiber was also right at the line, but
Yeah, it looked like he did get pushed, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, he can walk. There's no reason for him to fall.
All right, Tom, stay away from the officials.
I haven't gotten any letters. I haven't gotten any letters yet this year.
No, we had enough with Stan Kellner in basketball. Here's Brian Duncan having it dislodged. And coming upfield is Falcone.
Uniondale needs a good shot effort here.
DeLillis, they've got to score to get back in this game. Conwell had Engelman open for a moment. Engelman trying to set a pick for him. Instead it goes to the far side. DeLillis, Conwell. Back to DeLillis. Eric Grundell, 45 in the game now for Uniondale.
Nice poke check by Cross, right on the gloves.
Yep. And Scott trying to pick it up. Look at his quickness. Look how he holds the ball as he cradles and gets it quickly upfield. That ability to spot that man on the clear it quickly, it really helps the offense so much.
You certainly do. You have 4 seconds in the cage to get rid of it. You can use 2.5 to look, then you think about going out.
And Scott, one of the best at that. Not only good one-on-one with the great reflexes. Payne had a collision behind the net, and the big guy went down.
It's going to be interference on
Montez Johnson.
Moving pick behind the cage there.
So it'll go over to Uniondale.
Montez can set quite a pick, by the way, Barry.
What a football player. 6'1", 220. And only a freshman. He's about 14 years old.
Well, they've had some fine basketball, lacrosse, football, everything's been going well over at Hempstead, and their track team's good.
Yep.
Uniondale's track team, by the way, is one of the class in the States.
Yes, I know. When talking to Jim Condon, very proud of that. Of course, had an outstanding basketball season, upset by Long Beach in the county playoffs. Russ Bastion's had a tough reign. Get to the playoffs all the time, but always a bridesmaid, so it would seem, but very good basketball club.
Uniondale again having trouble clearing the ball against that Hempstead right. It's been very, very effective. And as time has been going on, they've been getting less and less patient against it.
So it'll be Hempstead ball. Play resumes now as Hempstead controls. 36 is Arian Cross, center on the football team. This is the dangerous Art Barrett. Oh, and Duncan missed wide. Had a man at the side of the cage, Clement Boyd, 5'10", 150-pound junior, who was looking for a goal. And it'll be Hempstead possession. 4:34 to go. Tigers lead by 3. Tom, these two schools have not played very often. In fact, I think last year was the first time they have played lacrosse, even though they're just a few miles apart, neighboring schools. Hempstead much smaller in classification.
Used to be.
In terms of population, but they've been really increasing now those numbers. And of course, Uniondale had always been in one of the larger schools.
Right. The shots through this quarter right now, by the way, Barry, are 5-0. Uniondale has not had a shot on goal yet, or a shot period, and we count anything as a shot here, which I think is a more meaningful statistic sometimes than what hockey uses.
Yeah, that is a good point.
But
well,
Hempstead has come from the small leagues, and next year you're going to find them in Division I in almost every sport. I know it's that way in football, and I think basketball just about will make it too.
Tom, while we have a moment, I know you we mentioned involved with football coaching over at Garden City, assistant coach to Coach Dougherty. What are your feelings about the revised and the rest of the coaches? How do they feel about the revised play that's going to be next year?
I think Bill Piner and his group did an excellent job of setting it up. Too many teams, I think, were going to developmental league. Some should be there and some shouldn't be there. And now you got a chance. Now, some of the teams are not going to win a lot of games, but they're not going to be in a lot of games where they're going to be embarrassed.
That's a good point.
I think you got to give it a chance. Basketball's talking about doing it. Lacrosse, we're still enrollment-wise, but that could change too.
All right, long clear upfield comes to Scott. Scott looking to show some of his quickness. Gets it to Barrett. Can't get it. We have a push.
Loose ball push on Falcone.
3:28 to go. 4-3, or rather 7-4 is the score. Falcone. There's a look at Glenn. Fine young man. Will be playing for St. John's next year. Excellent all-conference performer at 58 goals. Has 33 so far this year. Oh, Barrett shot knocked down in front. Engelman.
Now, Falcone's going to be a much better player with a much stronger supporting cast. Uniondale's given it all they have today, but they're not a lot of highly skilled players.
Engelman checked by Duncan, lost control of the ball.
Murphy picked it up, then lost it.
Brazil 45, or check it, number 45 is Eric Gundell. Back to Falcone as they look for him. Falcone checked by Barrett. Still loose. Barron trying to get the handle on it. And recovered behind the net by the big stick. Number 62, is it? Mark Chambers has done a good job. Look at that collision as Pasaparalis, 77, hit hard with the injured player. And let's see, is it Barrett, 25? Or Duncan?
25 or 24, I'm not sure.
I couldn't see. I
which
saw
one's
the two.
down, yeah. But those long passes sometimes can get you in trouble that way.
Yeah, you got to kind of get blindsided there.
Yeah, let's see. Looking to see which one's standing, 25 or 24.
Well, in case you are just
it's not Duncan. It must be Clement Boyd, man.
Must be Clement Boyd. In case you're just tuning in, this was a close game right from the very outset. Uniondale jumped in front 1-0 on a goal by Falcone, his 31st. Hempstead came back to take a 2-1 lead. Barrett his 33rd and Duncan his 32nd, and that's the way the first quarter ended. Uniondale tied it on Falcone's second goal. He has 3 so far of the day. That came at 19-second mark of the second quarter. Hempstead came back with 2 straight goals to regain the lead, and 3-2. Duncan is 33rd, second of the game at 4:27. Then at 7:09 to make it 4-2. Payne is 14th from Duncan. And Uniondale came back at the end of the half with 8:14, the time of Falcone's 3rd goal, and 33rd of the year to make it 4-3. That's the way the half ended. Here in the second half, Hempstead upped their lead to 5-3 on Payne's 15th goal, second of the game. Uniondale came back to make it 5-4 on Barron's 7th, and that's the way the third quarter ended. Here in the fourth quarter, it's been all Hempstead. Watford his 3rd at 1:55 to make it 6-4, and Payne his 16th, 3rd of the game at 2:10 to make it 7-4. That's the way it stands. Hempstead in the commanding position. They've got the ball here at a 3-goal lead as the shot knocked out, taken by Hughes. Hughes recovers. Looking for the open man and wanting the ball is Watford. He had been open on the right side. Instead, Barrett in front for 0-0. Montez Johnson broken up. Loose ball recovered by Uniondale as they try to get out. Arn Johnson's pass goes to Ray. And it goes back over to Hempstead with 1:58 to go, Tom Platt.
Good hustling effort by Andre Anderson there on a check. Came right over the defender's head. I think checking the stats, I don't think Uniondale's had a half dozen shots this half at this time. So it just shows you that, the number of players just worn them down. Plus a very effective ride.
And as the Hempstead controls,
Uniondale just went off sides.
Brian Duncan controlling. Late call here on the penalty.
Got to whittle his possession.
Still inside the restraining area now as they gain possession.
That'll do it.
That should do it. So they'll be down.
One man for 30 seconds, I would believe.
1:36 remaining. And we invite you to remember that our next lacrosse doubleheader will be coming up, a Suffolk County doubleheader, Huntington against Comstock. And we'll be back in a moment. On the scoreboard, it's Hempstead 7, Uniondale 4. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
Come into Genovese and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's be your prescription store. Cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genevieve's is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore. Genovese.
Back here at Uniondale High School, Barry Landers and Tom Flatley. We are down to 1:36 to go as we're going to get a substitution in goal for Hempstead. We'll pick it up for you in a moment. And Hempstead leading comfortably here by a score of 7-4, Tom Flatley.
Well, they just sort of totally dominated the second half. If they had shot a little better, it wouldn't be, you know, this close a contest. But Uniondale's hung tough. Right now, Hempstead got another man-up opportunity. Could double the score here to 8-4.
And a chance for Eric Lawrence, number 0, to come in goal for Hempstead. Eric is a 6'1", 65-pound junior. And there's a look at Eric as he replaces James Scott, who wasn't very busy. Got a little lonely for James Scott in the fourth quarter.
Well, the only way he got the ball in the fourth quarter was by coming out and picking up loose balls or playing center field on the ride.
All right, 6 saves he's had in the game. Man-up situation. Hempstead looking to go up by 4 here. Out in front, knocked out of the stick of Hughes as he couldn't control.
Kowalski might have got a piece of that one, too.
And Barrett has trouble with it. Did he lose possession?
It's going to go the other way.
Yep.
Hughes is a great target on the crease. He's really slimmed down from last year. He was a lot heavier than
6'4", 220, super crease man. Strong, excellent shot. Clutch scorer. He's gotten some big goals for Hempstead over the years. 13 goals for the junior.
He missed part of the season, Barry, I think, with a little shoulder separation
games,
there.
Yeah. So.
This penalty time should just about be up. Hempstead's still up at this moment.
All right, Jones had a good game. Montez Johnson, I believe, the pass. No, it was Barrett's pass knocked away. Jeff Green looking to play it. Loose ball. Can they get to it? Yes, they do, and it's wide. The shot attempted by number 13, Henry Conwell, a 5'7" senior. Looking for a goal right there, and he shot it wide. He had 4 goals against Berner. And he's a good rider, too. Good defensive player in the as an attackman. Now, another timeout taken here with 47 seconds as this game is just dragging to a conclusion here.
And Hempstead called that one, too. I would think Pat Shea would have taken maybe to set up some kind of offensive play. It's tough to score 3 in 47 when you've only scored 4 in, you know, the other 39 minutes. But Hempstead, it was Hempstead's timeout, Barry.
Well, as we said, Tom Flatley earlier, you got to give Uniondale credit. Undermanned, they've given Hempstead a pretty tough go this afternoon. I don't know whether Hempstead came in, maybe took them a little bit lightly, but they did a good job this afternoon.
They certainly did. That timeout also might have been taken because of some confusion on substitutions, and rather than get hit with a delay of game penalty, which would cost him, he took the timeout.
All right, Tom, we talked about the outstanding clubs earlier, the top 10 at Nassau, the season just about halfway. Your club very much in the thick of things, Sewantica, as you've dropped down to second place in your third place in your league competition behind Levittown Division and Garden City. If you were a betting man, Tom Flatley, who are the 4 teams that possibly might make it to the semifinals?
Well, you got to remember there's about 6 games left for each team and their injury factor. But right now, I would say Farmingdale. I would go with Manhasset. Then after that, I would say anybody like Garden City, Cold Spring, Hempstead, who we're watching today, and maybe Franny or Elmont as possibilities. But I like Manhasset and Farmingdale as my 2 best bets to get to the semifinals.
All right, we can't discount your Sewantica club either, can we? Falcone rifles it high and beats Lawrence on the far side. 4th goal for Falcone. What can you say about this?
It's almost an instant replay of that shot we saw before. Same goal, came around and drew. I think it was Conwell.
Whatever the play was, they designed it, and it's worked effectively.
That's right.
So with 42 seconds to go, face-off upcoming, and they're down by 2. And it'll be an opportunity here as Hempstead is not making it. As Brian Duncan coming in, he's going to take the face-off. They were going to line up with an inexperienced face-off.
You have to
Kevin
go with
Sullivan, but
you have to go with Duncan or Jones. Falcone's shot on that, by the way, was just under the pipe. You've seen Scott come back in the game now, too. Al's not taking any chances. The first shot goes in, but, you know, no goalie would have stopped that one, I don't think.
No, it was an excellent shot.
Well, I ought to mention, Hempstead has produced 2 out of the last 3 captains of United States teams. One of them was Alan Lowe in '74 and Billy Barrows in '82.
That's a good point. Of course, Tom was involved with that lacrosse team, U.S. lacrosse team. Big face-off. Falcone knocks it away, trying to get possession. It's still in bounds, but we have a call. Blue ball, a push against Uniondale.
Against Falcone.
Possession.
You have to try to do it there if you can.
29 seconds to go. And of course, the players maybe not used to so many officials.
No.
You got an official right on the play all the time.
Mr. Shea trying to improve one of the officials' techniques right here. However, you know, it looked like a push to me, Barry, on that one. That timeout, all Hempstead's got to do is get it down their own end of the field, and it's over.
29 seconds to go.
Kowalski walking over the huddle has had his hands full today and did an outstanding job.
Let's quickly turn to the college scene. We've seen or rather Delphi pull off a big upset. I don't know how big an upset, but they beat Hofstra this year. Last year, Post upset Hofstra. Do you see eventually St. John's and Post, which have certainly raised their programs, being on a level with Delphi and Hofstra on a consistent basis and providing the area with 4 legitimate Division I programs?
Well, there's certainly enough good lacrosse players on Long Island. The problem is keeping a lot of the good ones home. We're supplying lacrosse players to Virginia, to Maryland, to Hopkins, and all over the country. Of course, you know, one thing that does it right now, I believe that Hofstra and the Delphi both put a little more financial aid into their lacrosse program than does St. John's and CW Post. And basically, if you have 14 scholarships to 6, you should have a better lacrosse team. But, you know, the amazing thing this year is they've all had pretty good seasons, and none of these teams are playing with a lot of seniors.
That's true. Of course, we've had the pleasure of televising some of those teams this year. And we hope that next year we'll be able to do even more. And we'd like your support. Drop us a line at Cablevision if you'd like to see more collegiate lacrosse next year. All right, Scott, back in the game. Porcepellis chasing him.
Now he can use the crease.
And Porcepellis stepped in the crease. It's a free clear. And you can see Porcepellis was upset, but he clearly did go right into the crease there.
Yeah, a little too close. Scott was very smart. They just holding the ball behind.
And another timeout taken.
I think I mentioned something about the 2 timeouts half before.
I think I could start agreeing with the collegiate rule after watching this.
Of course, you know, you're dealing with young kids. You want to remind them as much as you can of what they should do. You know, they've heard it every time, but sometimes the timeout's got to be a necessary thing.
Well, in high school basketball, they've reduced the timeouts this year. And, of course, they've reduced it in college basketball and, in effect, to try to speed up the game.
Yeah, I think that in college basketball, I got sort of bored watching it because all the teams would save their 5 timeouts for the last 2 minutes of play.
And that could take a half hour
It certainly
to
could.
play.
They call a timeout just to get pressing or change defensive players. But in lacrosse, I just don't like it when a team tries to use them to just run one midfield and play the game with 10 men. And as the weather gets hotter, you can't do that anyway. But in the cooler weather, some teams would play the game with 10 people and use their 6 timeouts to rest them.
Just about ready to resume the action here with 20 seconds left. Hempstead leading 7-5. Uniondale has never led in this game. They've been tied a few times. The last time at 2-2. They've been within a goal a couple of times. And Hempstead has broken it open with 2 goals here in the 3rd quarter to lead by 3. And now it's, of course, a 2-goal lead.
Duncan did a nice job there of beating the double team.
This is Duncan.
He's holding on to it too long. Going to be a push. See whether the ball was loose or not. No.
11 seconds to go. Push is loose, so it's just possession. No foul, no penalty.
Pass to the free man. That's it.
As the open man, this is Barrett. Barrett can eat up the clock. 2 seconds. 1 as he goes behind the cage. That will do it. So our high school lacrosse game here has been won by Hempstead. Their record now under Al Hodish improves to 9-2-1. They are now 3-1-1 in league play. Uniondale's record in the league now 1-4, and they drop to 4-6. Look at Al Hodish as he congratulates the officials for a fine game. And we'll be back in just a moment. Tom Flatley and I with a chat with Al Hodish and one of his players. You're watching the Long Island Sports Network.
I never ran before I came to Adelphi. It's funny, but now I can't imagine myself not doing it. I've really learned how to push myself here. I still haven't decided between law school and Wall Street, but it'll come. I can remember when I first came here, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I'm glad I chose Adelphi. I mean, I wanted a small college atmosphere. But what I really needed was a university big enough to try some courses like film writing and computer science. Still, as big as Adelphi is, I never felt lost here. I never had a professor who didn't know my name, or one who wouldn't take the time to help me. I really like it here. It's got everything I want. But you know, sometimes I just can't wait to graduate. I guess it's sort of like my running. Once you get started, you can't wait to see how far you can go.
Adelphi. Our students succeed. Adelphi is comprised of 8 schools with more than 80 majors. Call or write for more information. Adelphi, the great university on Long Island.
Come into Genevieve's and you'll know you're in a real drugstore.
There's a warm, friendly feeling through and through Genovese, as it's telling you we're doing everything we can do. We'd like to be your prescription store, cosmetics, vitamins, and more. 'Cause Genevieve's is a real drugstore. You're in a real drugstore, Genovese.
Back at Uniondale High School, Barry Landers with Tyrone Payne of Hempstead High School. Tyrone helped his club to a 7-5 victory over a tough Uniondale team. Tyrone, you guys struggled a little bit today. Did you take Uniondale a little bit lightly?
I don't really think so. There's a pressure with the cable, you know, first time on TV, and, you know, we just had to get our things together in the second half. We pulled it through.
Tyrone, you did an excellent job defensively in the second half, controlled the game. You yourself had 3 goals. Talk about your game today.
Well, my game, it didn't come along too much, you know, into the second half. I feel that, you know, I don't know. There's really nothing to say, really. Just had to put things together.
Brian Duncan, who does a lot of scoring, usually he turned to the assist man today. He had 4 assists.
Yeah, he was always like that.
Their goaltender, Kowalski, really stood you up a lot of times, made some outstanding saves, and your All-American candidate, Mr. Scott, seemed not too busy at only 6 saves.
Our defense did good, I think. You know, they kept us in the game. You know, it's nothing. The offense, that's what it was. We got to get a little more clicking, that's all.
You got a man-down goal as a team. That was a big goal in this game.
Yes, it was. But I don't know. I'm all talking right now.
All right, Tyrone James, congratulations. A little nervous, a little more nervous out here on the TV cameras than you were out on the field, were you?
Yeah.
Okay, congratulations to Tyrone, and standing by, of course, my colleague, Tom Flatley, to talk with Al Hodish, the fine Hempstead coach.
Thank you, Barry. Al, congratulations.
Thank you, Tom.
This win keeps your team right in the thick of the race?
Yeah, it's a win, and that's the important thing. You know, we obviously didn't play to our best of our ability. I think Tyrone made a key point. We were definitely tight today, and, you know, I think TV does that. Witnessed the first game. You know, but as you point out, we are right in the thick of things, and we control our own destiny. We win the rest from here. We've got a good shot at our league title. That's our goal.
Right. It's very, very exciting in Nassau County this year. Al, I think your team played very, very well defensively. I think you increased the pressure of your zone, your man-to-man pressure on the ball handlers as the game went on.
Yeah, we felt that we could. You know, Uniondale's got a great player in Glenn Falcone, and that's the guy we really wanted to put the pressure on. I think Boyden going out of the game hurt them a little bit, and I can't say enough about their goalie. He was excellent today, and without him, maybe, you know, we would have played and scored the goals that we feel we're capable of scoring.
Certainly, Al, your team did not have their greatest day shooting, but what I was very, very impressed with was your riding ability.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time out, and we feel that's one of our strengths. That and the fast break game. We feel that, you know, in order to be able to win, we've got to be very effective riding, and as I said, we put a lot of time into that.
It's not a very, very complicated ride, but you do it very well, and it causes tremendous problems for the other team.
Yeah, well, it's not all that complicated, as you mentioned, but it just takes hustle and desire, and a guy's believe in it, and it has been very effective for it.
Good. Al, congratulations again to you, your Hempstead Tigers, and the programs. Everything's going well over there. And we look forward to seeing you possibly on TV again in the county playoffs.
Well, we hope so. It's a long ways off, and with our league, and as you mentioned, Nassau County competition being so tough this year, we'll see what happens.
Thank you again, Al. Thanks for scheduling the game so we can get it on TV this afternoon. I'd like to remind the fans that they have been watching the Long Island Sports Network.
Do you think you could hold on to a child in an accident and save him from hitting the windshield? Let's look. A sudden stop at just 35 miles per hour could propel a child forward with a force of nearly a ton. Holding that child back would be like trying to hold back a